from 1910 onwards, the commissioner at the time was called Armitage, the chief commissioner, Armitage. And Armitage decided that the Nayiri should be bolstered. Because they felt that the Nayiri, if they bolster his authority, he would be able to preside over that whole area and bring about some kind of security in the area. The Nayiri had never traveled before outside Nalerugu because of superstition that chiefs don't cross rivers. So even between Nalerugu and Gambaga, the chief would never cross because there's a stream in between. So they write in the report that if we don't get this chief to leave this superstition, then we have to deskin him. We have to remove him because you can't be a chief who doesn't travel to visit your people. So they put pressure on Nayiri and took him on a tour in 1911. It's all documented, detailed, how they took him on the tour up to the upper regions, to the Katsina area, to the Kusasi area, to the Frafra area. They went all through those areas. And then, during that, the Armitage proclaimed Nayiri as the overlord of the area in that tour in 1911. Then in 1912, the governor visited the north to visit the area. And the commissioner took the governor and took Nayiri again at the time to visit the whole up the northeast again. And on April 14, 1912, I came across this appointment letter, a formal appointment letter that was signed by Armitage, appointing the Nayiri formally as the paramount chief of the Northeast Province. You remember the Northeast Province? That Nayiri was the paramount chief of the Northeast Province. And this is part of the letter I'm quoting here. And I will have copies of these original documents. I, Cecil Armitage, Hamilton Armitage, a captain in the reserve of officers, companion of the most distinguished order of St. Michael and St. George, companion of the most distinguished service order, chief commissioner of the Northern Territories, hereby appoint Mahama, chief of Nalerugu, style Na of Mampurusi, his heirs and successors, paramount chief of all the lands situated within the boundaries of the northeastern province of the Northern Territories. He was using his authority to appoint Nayiri and Nayiri's heirs as paramount chief over all that area. And he wrote this letter and he pronounced this in Navrongo on 14th April 1912 in the presence of the governor. The governor was reluctant. You could see from the correspondence that the governor was reluctant. The governor wasn't sure about what was happening. But he had to initiate. So you find that original letter in the archives. That it was the first time that and Nayiri, as I said, was very reluctant at the time. He knew that his rule did not extend all the way there, but the British were taking him there to do this. So the commissioners on the ground were questioning. The Nayiri himself is not keen about this. The Nayiri himself is not sure about this. Why are we putting pressure on him? They were writing those things in the reports. But Armitage was keen to get the place organized, so he went ahead and did that in 1912. Unfortunately, the First World War broke out. And when the First World War broke out, the British had to withdraw their commissioners, some of them. And so Nayiri, they couldn't enforce Nayiri's rule. And it simply just was on paper. In fact, when they appointed Nayiri, he was only allowed to inskin, but not to appoint. Which means the people will select their chief and take him to Nalerugu, and he will put the ritual, he will perform the ritual of his kingdom. Nayiri attempted to appoint chiefs himself in 1912, and it was reversed. And he was fined 50 pounds. Again, it's all in the archives. You come across these documents there. And they are saying that we must not let Nayiri think that he has the power to appoint chiefs. He is not got the power to appoint. He only has to perform the ritual. And you see them writing all of that in the documents. So Nayiri's rule from 1912 to 1920 was not effective because of the World War, the First World War. Then after the First World War, Governor Gordon visited the North, and he revisited the idea. He came up with the idea of putting people together to form large administrative areas. And so in 1921, he visited Tamale and he pronounced a new policy. He said, our policy must be to maintain any paramount chiefs that exist and gradually absorb under these any small communities scattered about.